Came to Believe, the spiritual adventure of AA as experienced by individual members. This is Sober Readings. It's Sunday again, and this week we're on Chapter 5, titled A Spiritual Awakening. Chapter 5 has 9 readings. This week I will read 2 of them. The opening for Chapter 5 reads, "Is sobriety all that we are to expect of a spiritual awakening? No. Sobriety is only a bare beginning. It is only the first gift of the first awakening. If more gifts are to be received, our awakening has to go on. As it does go on, we find that bit by bit we can discard the old life, the one that did not work, for a new life that can and does work under any conditions whatever." Bill W. The first reading in Chapter 5 is titled Letting Go. For a long time, I had the idea that I must succeed. I must be right. I must be important. If I let go, I thought, then I wouldn't be anybody. Well, who was I, anyway? Just a willful alcoholic woman. Now I'm beginning to see that letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means opening myself to new vistas. There have been moments of what I would call ecstasy. I'm thrilled and I'm scared at the same time. I feel I'd better not enjoy this because it's going to go away. It's so hard for me to say, okay, you've had a little insight, just let it happen. The AA program says, look, we've got some things to give you that are really going to help, if you'll slow down long enough and if you'll relax. These are not things that are going to make me special or get me a better job or make me important. They're just going to offer me a way of life that is beautiful. When I say, I want to know something about the spirit in me, you say, go ahead, there isn't anything to be afraid of. The darkness you may encounter isn't going to last, because there will always be somebody to help you. San Francisco, California. The next reading is titled Action and Patience. In common with many AAs, I never enjoyed the luxury of a large and conscious spiritual experience, and I felt a little deprived. But we have a better program than we know, as Bill, our co-founder, said. I came to believe by way of that program, though I have recognized the process only in retrospect. I had started with an optimistic, idealized view of life, supported by a strong religious commitment and faith. Somewhere along the way, I became a victim of the sickness unto death, alienated, anxious, alone. I found myself in the midst of a journey into darkness, separated from God, from other people, from my own being. I regret many things that happened on this journey, but I no longer regret that it took place. Some of us are more blinded by our pride and willfulness than others, and have to be broken in order to see. I had to realize that of myself I had no power to help myself. The day came, by the grace of God, when I had that moment of truth, though at the time I experienced it more as a plunge into deeper darkness than as the leap of faith, which it ultimately proved to be, more as a humiliating defeat than as the transforming experience of my life. In shame and despair, I went to my first AA meeting. By some minor miracle, I was able to suspend opinion, analysis, judgment, and criticism, and instead to listen and hear. I heard someone say that AA works for those who work for it, those who put action into the program. For me, at that time, action consisted of simply showing up at an AA meeting and following the suggestions I heard. I heard that I should forget about yesterday and tomorrow and instead concentrate on today and staying away from the first drink today, now. I tried it, and it worked. The first step in the process of coming to believe had been taken. I heard this action had to be backed up with patience, that in time, for instance, I would sleep without the sedation of alcohol. Each night after the AA meeting, I surrounded myself with books and magazines and ginger ale and sat down before the television set, preparing to stay awake all night. This was action for me at that time, following instructions. I was prepared to wait for sleep. I didn't have to wait long. For the first time in memory, I fell asleep in a chair before the television set, and I came to believe a little more. I heard that we can't keep what we have unless we give it away. And so I found a woman, someone a little newer than I was, and I shared with her what you had shared with me. Looking back on it, I doubt that I helped this woman very much, but I helped myself beyond measure. I stayed sober, day by day, through sharing my experience, strength, and hope with her, through putting action into the AA program, while at the same time waiting for her, not forcing my action on her. This was patience supporting the action, though I didn't call it patience at the time. The word was not a part of my emotional vocabulary. As time went on, my life became totally involved in AA action. I had experienced the power of God's forgiveness, and through grace, I was able to make this response of gratitude that is beyond verbal expression. God's grace had overcome the death that was in me, and instead had made me a member of the Society of the Second Chance. If this grace had been contingent on my righteousness or obedience or goodness or sacrifice, as acts of the will, it would never have come to me because I had none of these things going on. It was an unearned favor to an unlikely prospect. This grace that overcomes death by forgiveness is the truth that has set me free to regard myself and you as acceptable, because God accepts us for what we are, imperfect creatures. And if, as I pray, I should continue to grow in grace, it will be through love and service to this fellowship and to the power greater than myself that I call God. New York, New York. That's it for today's reading out of the book Came to Believe. Next Sunday, I'll continue with Chapter 5. Until then, don't drink, go to a meeting, and keep coming back. Have a great day, and as my friend Larry says, best day ever.